Hi everyone, I'm Daniel, and today I'd like to share with you what I think are the best level 2 upgrades in Arkham Horror the card game. First off, what is an upgrade? Colloquially, most of us talk about upgrades as any new cards we add to our deck at the end of a scenario by spending XP. We're making our deck better, that is, we're upgrading it. But that's not the rulebook definition. The rulebook definition is when you have a card like Magnifying Glass in your deck, and then you remove it and add Magnifying Glass level 1, spending 1 experience point. If you have 2 copies level 0 Magnifying Glass, you'll have to spend 2 XP to upgrade them both. In summary, when purchasing a higher level version of a card with the same title, you remove the lower level one and pay only the difference in XP. This isn't just pedantic. Some cards, like Down the Rabbit Hole and Arcane Research, specifically refer to upgrading cards. The lower level cards need to be in your deck in the first place in order to take advantage of their XP discounts. Okay, so you know what upgrading is. Why am I focusing on just level 2 cards? You can certainly upgrade from level 0 to level 1, or level 1 to level 4, or a lot of other possibilities, but level 2 upgrades are widely accessible among investigators in the game. This makes sense. The most common deck building options in the game are main class level 0 to 5 and off class level 0 to 1. So, most investigators will be able to upgrade a good chunk of their cards in both their main class and off class. Level 2 upgrades are also widely accessible in that at least 2 XP at the end of a scenario is relatively common. So instead of saving up your XP to spend on one bigger purchase, you might be able to upgrade more than one level 0 card to its level 2 counterpart. This is especially so with Arcane Research or Down the Rabbit Hole as mentioned earlier as ways to make these upgrades even cheaper. Now let's talk about the level 2 upgrades in the current card pool themselves. How can you evaluate if they are worth your time and XP? Well, I went through all 90 level 2 cards that have a level 0 counterpart, excluding all the customizable cards of course, which do count as upgrades but are extremely difficult to evaluate. I compared each of the cards and determined if the level 2 card cost less, had extra icons, drew a card, gave a skill boost, and or had some other effect. This was a simple analysis. I just wanted to see if the designers were consistent in how much they valued 2 XP. So, what does 2 XP get you? 31% of the 90 cards had a reduced cost, usually by 1 resource, but sometimes by 2 resources if the card had no other improvements. 75% of the cards had an extra icon. Almost all the time this was not a matching icon to the one that was already there. A few cards simply stapled draw 1 card to its effect. A few more cards included a skill boost. These were usually weapons or spells. Most cards though had some other effect. While tallying these other effects, I noticed that many of them were very similar, so let's talk about some suites of cards before circling back to some overall evaluation. First, there's the basic skills suite. Overpower, Perception, Guts, and Manual Dexterity all have 2 matching icons and draw you a card on success. Their level 2 counterparts, which are available in the Investigator starter decks, now belong to a particular class, get an extra icon, and draw a second card if you succeed by 2 or more. Next is the Return to Your Hand suite, which is a set of rogue events, Slip Away, Cheap Shot, and Breaking and Entering. They all add 2 skills together and do something special on Succeed by 2. Their upgrades lower the special effect to Succeed by 1, and return themselves to your hand on Succeed by 3. Unfortunately, these cards are all scattered across a few different player card boxes. There's also a few level 2 Return to Your Hand cards not pictured here, like Baseball Bat, Colt 32, and Unexpected Courage. There's also a Fail By suite in Survivor. These are Oops, Dumb Luck, and Look What I Found, and they're all similar in that after you fail a skill test by 2 or less while attacking, evading, or investigating, you get to do something cool. Their level 2 upgrades increase the window to fail by 3, and that cool thing you got to do at level 0, it's even cooler now. Lastly, there's another set of skill cards from the core set that all have a level 2 upgrade in the Dunwich Legacy. They are Vicious Blow, Deduction, Fearless, Opportunist, and Survival Instinct. Hey, that's one from each class. Anyways, they all do different things, but their upgrades are somewhat similar. Actually, that's not quite true. These 3 all increase their effects on Succeed by 2, either getting an extra clue, dealing extra damage, or healing extra horror, while the Rogue and Survivor cards have a better effect but don't quite match the Succeed by 2 pattern. Okay, so back to evaluating upgrades in general. What is 2 XP worth anyways? Are the best cards just the ones that have the most boxes checked on the list that I gave you before? The difficult part of the question is that level 2 cards are good, but you shouldn't put them in your deck just for the sake of spending XP. Could you save that XP for a higher level card instead? Remember, level 2 cards are accessible to a very large number of investigators, so it turns out that the designers tend to make level 3 cards quite powerful because they are so exclusive. So the difference between a level 2 card and a level 3 card is larger than the difference between a level 0 and a level 1 card. And finally, how much better is the card than the level 0 version that's already in your deck? I think about this question quite a bit. If the level 0 card is doing the job, why bother upgrading? Let's talk about some level 2 cards to prove the point. First, Encyclopedia. There's a level 0 version of the card that has 5 secrets on it. Basically, it restricts you from using the ability more than 5 times. The level 2 version lets you do it forever. Well, how many times do you need to do this? Since it exhausts anyways, are there really more than 5 rounds when you absolutely need that +2 to a skill? Probably not. You could spend your XP in better ways. 45 Automatic 2 is, in my opinion, in contention for one of the worst upgrades in the game. On the surface, it checks a lot of the boxes in comparison to the level 0 version. An extra icon, a skill boost, and an extra ability. In fact, very few cards in the set of 90 upgrades had 3 or more upgrades from my list, but that doesn't make them good. First off, the extra icon could be good, but on assets you're not spending 2 XP to get 1 more icon on a card to commit to a test, so that is pretty negligible. The +2 instead of +1 to combat is great of course, but you can get that boost in other ways. Ignoring Retaliate is not going to come up very often. So overall, how often is this card functionally going to be the same as the level 0 version? I would say almost always, and the level 0 already is a very good card. Lastly, we have Opportunist level 2. The difference between level 0 and level 2 is return your hand on Succeed by 2 instead of Succeed by 3. That's it. Now, I do like the card quite a bit for its effect, but like the other cards on this list, I find it to be a luxury upgrade. You have tons of XP and you don't know what to do with it, and you'd rather not remove something else from your deck. I admit that that is one very nice thing about upgrades. Making deck space for a card with a different effect is sometimes challenging, and upgrading a card is simple. Okay, I have one level 2 upgrade from each class that I find to be of extraordinary value. The first one in Guardian is, of course, B-Cop. The level 0 version gives you a skill boost and can do just 1 damage when you discard him. The level 2 version, meanwhile, lets you deal testless damage up to 3 times, and possibly even more than that if you combo with healing or other cards that let you return B-Cop to your hand or shuffle it into your deck. It's such a staple, and I haven't gotten tired of playing it yet. In Seeker, I've unearthed the Ancients. The level 0 version here is very bad. It costs a resource, and you forego getting a clue on your investigation. The level 2 version is actually incredible. We have some cost reduction, an extra icon, and the ability is really good. You'll still get your clue, and you can put up to 2 Seeker assets into play at the same time. The bit about relics is just a bonus. In Rogue, I actually have a weapon. It's worth comparing the Mauser C96 to the 45 automatic I dumped on earlier. So, for the 2 XP, you get cost reduction, which I find extremely valuable in weapons, but you also get the extra icon, and a skill boost, and a fairly rare but cool Succeed by 4 effect. Great upgrade. Okay, this might be a little silly, but I picked Alchemical Transmutation for Mystic. Again, we get cost reduction, which is important in a card that we're using to gain resources. It also has an extra icon, an extra charge, something kind of similar to a skill boost, and the ability to gain 4 resources instead of 3. This is a lot for 2 XP. Now, Ward of Protection is probably the more useful upgrade, since the upgrade allows you to cancel treachery cards from any investigator at your table. But I thought about it. How often do you play the level 2 ward on yourself? Somewhat often? In that case, it was functionally the same as the level 0 one. Don't get me wrong, I will play level 2 Ward of Protection way more often than level 2 Alchemical Transmutation, but you're getting value out of that XP as soon as you put level 2 Alchemical down on the table. Let's talk about Oops. I did mention this card earlier as one of the fail by cards. What I didn't mention was how different the level 0 and level 2 cards actually are from each other. Let's take a look. There is the fail by 3 thing, but also you can play this card when you're attacking any enemy, not just ones engaged with you. Okay, what does it do? Well, the level 0 one deals the damage to another enemy at your location. That is, there needs to be at least 2 enemies at your location for it to be playable. Level 2, you can deal the damage to the one you just attacked. and then there's some extra text about you don't hit your friend as a consequence of the failed attack as well. Now, maybe all this stuff should have been in the level 0 card to begin with, but the level 2 card is certainly playable. Let's finish off with a neutral card. Well, there are only 2 neutral cards that upgrade from level 0 to level 2, so Backpack is my choice because the level 2 version is bonkers. Alright, the comparison. Extra icon? Check. Cost reduction? Check. Other ability? Check. Let's see what it is. Oh, you will get to search the top 12 cards of your deck instead of 6 for items or supplies? That's incredible. Very likely this will be around half your deck. And don't sleep on the difference between 1 and 2 resources. With Geared Up or Ever Vigilant, this card doesn't cost you anything. Yep, this is probably the best of the whole bunch. Okay, that's it for this video. What are your favorite level 2 upgrades in the game? I'll have more videos on this topic in the future, and in the meantime, check out more Arkham Horror content on my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.